What's going on, everyone? Gilman with Wellthy Stocks back with our daily Apple update video where we take a look at how Apple stock traded today, some key support and resistance levels that we are looking at moving into the future, and based on that, what we think Apple stock could do. So real quick, if you enjoy videos like this, hit that like button down below, subscribe to my channel if you are new, and comment down below what your thoughts on Apple are, and I'd love to chat with you guys down there. So let me hit record and we will get right into it. Great green day for Apple. We are up another $3.85, 2.77%, hitting another all-time high today at the beginning of the day. So we'll take a look at, how we traded, right? So right off the bat, if we compare the 2.77% to the indexes, we see that the NASDAQ was up only 0.69%. The Dow Jones was actually slightly red on the day, 32 points. And the S&P 500 was up only 0.39%. But the crazy story today was this massive drop. Let me know down in the comment section if you guys got that. It was really, really scary to see. I mean, pretty much any stock you look at, any index, NASDAQ, Dow Jones, S&P, Apple, right? You take a look and it was just such a scary drop. I got stopped out of a position that I had in Apple that I was trying to play just intraday. But, glad I got stopped out because I got stopped out around here and then it fell another like $5 or $6. So let's take a look at how Apple stock traded. So when we closed on Friday, we were in the 139s. We talked about, and we broke into kind of the 140s in the after hours. I talked about, hey, if we open above 140, we could see kind of a push towards 140 and then kind of a rally, but we didn't see that. What we saw was a pretty strong open 140s, right? 142, 143. Pushed up right out of the gate to 145, which again had mentioned that 145 was going to be our first mental resistance. 150 was likely to be our second mental resistance, right? So right off the bat, right, we got rejected at 145, kind of expected, nothing too crazy. Went down, VWAP test, pushed up again at that level, testing VWAP, right? Which makes sense, right? I mean, we're talking at the 145 point, 144 point, it was up even another $2 from here, right? So we're talking a $4.50 move at that point already, and it was just the beginning of the day. So I was totally cool with it taking a little breather and kind of bouncing off VWAP. And then at 10:48, right, everything's normal. We're at 144, looking good. From 10:49 to 11:09, so in those 20 minutes, we went from 144 to 136, an $8 drop in 20 minutes. Super scary to see. Right across the board, I went from being green in my portfolios to being a little bit red. And what we got was a bounce between this 138 level and this 136 level, pretty close to that 136 level that we had about 50 cents away. But the good news is, right, each of these candles is a minute, so we didn't even stay down there for like 5 minutes, right? Really quickly turned around, pushed right back up, broke above 140s again, and then 142 really, and then, really pushed up and closed in the 142.92. Afterwards, we are at 143.50. So what do we have coming up from a level of support, right, and a level of resistance? Let me draw another line for us here. I'm going to draw that line kind of right here. Around that level, right? Around the 142, high 141s. I think that's our next support level. So let me go on the daily chart and we'll kind of see what we see. I'm going to start doing these dotted lines instead of all these lines or all these solid lines, just so it's easier to see for price target purposes. Now, one thing that I want to share is we are up tremendously in the past like 5 trading days. We went from a low of 126 to 145. That's a $20 jump, close to like 17-18% in just 5 trading days. So great move for Apple. It's the move that we were expecting going into earnings, right? And that's exactly what we're seeing right now. So really happy we finally got that. Hopefully some of you guys were able to take advantage of that too. So what do we have next, right? I personally, again, this is just my personal opinion, I think there's still a little bit of gas left in the tank for Apple to run a little bit more into earnings. What I would like to see in the next couple of days is, look, the first resistance that I think we have is this 145 level, which, I mean, in the after hours, we're only talking $1.50 away. If it acts the way it did, today, opening up a little bit higher, we could see that we could see it gapping up potentially above 145. That takes care of that. And then I think the next point is 150, and that's sort of where I want Apple to go to, at least make a move at it, right? If it doesn't break it, fine, but I do want it to run to that 150 level tomorrow or Wednesday before earnings. That is my sort of goal for the stock. So again, if we push up 145, then 150 here, right? Because we're going to move right. On the downside, if we do, head down a little bit, right? Like we did on Friday, if we go take a look at Friday's chart, let me pull that up for us real quick. Right, we saw a little bit of a sell-off from 136 to 135.02, maybe a $1.50 dip, gets bought up really easily. Maybe some people take their profits and run, and then we can, start to push right back up. So if we see that happen, we've got this 142.92, or excuse me, 142.92 is where we are right now. We've got the 141.92 as our first level. And then we've got this 138.43 if we break below 140, right? So 141.92 is my first level that I'm watching. 140 is the mental resistance that I'm watching. And then I'm watching the 138.43 level as well. So that's what I'm watching from a daily perspective. We've got the 8 EMA coming in at 135.21 in case we dip all the way to the 8 EMA as well. Again, my goal for Apple is to, push towards that 145. If we can capture that level, stay above it, then push towards 150, hopefully knocking that out by earnings. I got out of my call on Friday because I was away from my computer and I had that goal set. I shared that with you guys. I got into another call today that was up decently, but then I got stopped out. And then I took another vertical put spread when it dipped to 140. So I'm looking to exit that soon. I've got another vertical put spread that I exited today, the one that I was talking to you guys about on a daily basis. I think that one I got like 60 or 70%. I can share the numbers if you guys would like to see them. And then my Apple shares, I think my dollar cost average is definitely below 100. And those shares, as you guys know, I'm continuing to hold and probably will do for, at least the near long term. So again, bullish on Apple, think it has a lot of potential. I think this earnings is a great one for Apple because we're talking about, a couple things. Actually, I want to cover this article as well. We got a price target increase from an analyst on Wall Street, from Wedbush. Analyst who raised their price target from 160 to 175. Even 160 implies a good upside, but when we say 175, right, that is just a tremendous upside. And the bull case is 225, so we could, hopefully see a push towards that sometime this year or next as well. But the reason being, and this is something that I've said over and over again, the iPhone 12 super cycle is something that's going to be great for Apple. And I've, kind of talked about, look, this is the first 5G iPhone. We're talking a quarter where the pre-order sales and the holiday sales were kind of combined. So we should see a monster quarter from an iPhone perspective, but that's not it, right? We're talking people getting, new MacBooks for Christmas. We're talking people signing up for the Fitness Plus app. We're talking just an increase in the Apple Music subscribers that they have. All these things I think are great for Apple, and I think that their year-over-year increases are going to be great. Now, great price target increase, great expectations, great price target increase, right? JP Morgan also has a $150 price target, which is higher than where we are right now. But I still want to remind you guys that if we run up a crazy amount before earnings, we could see a little bit of a pullback, even if we see amazing earnings, right? That's what we saw last time. After earnings, we fell even though Apple beat earnings. So a lot of times, right, after earnings, we could see a little bit of a pullback. And the reason I want to share that with you guys is in case you are in any options, there's kind of two things that you have to consider. The first one being you are going to be hit with what's called an IV crush. The implied volatility of any stock is high going into earnings because earnings is a time when, things are risky and the stock could go up or it could go down, which means the implied volatility, again, the amount that the stock is likely to move, right? What people think it can move is higher before earnings, right? Once you go through earnings, the implied volatility goes down. So if you've got options, right? Let's say you have a 140 call. And Apple is at 145 at earnings, and Apple stays at 145 perfectly during earnings. More likely than not, the value of your 140 call is going to go down. The only time, not the only time, one good reason to hold through earnings is if you think that Apple is going to gap up huge like Netflix did. If you were a Netflix call, of course you're going to make money, right? It gapped up tons, like 70, 80 bucks and ran 70, 80 bucks the next day, right? So in cases like that, it's worth it to hold through earnings. But I mean, even if you think Apple's going to have a good quarter, but everything that they're going to say is stuff that people are already expecting, then that could still see a little bit of a sell-off. I personally am probably only going to hold one put credit spread. I'm probably going to play options for the next 2 days, right? Calls or puts, depending on whether it's going up or down. But I'm probably not going to hold those through earnings just because I don't want to be hit with the IV crush and because I don't want to be a part of the sell the news. Now, my Apple shares continue to hold. Don't plan on selling them. Don't plan on, selling and buying in lower. I just will continue to hold them because, my dollar cost average is the kind of the way I'm playing those, and I'm just going to keep adding, hopefully slowly over time. That's how I'm playing it. Of course, you do what you want. Do your own research, make sure you understand what you're doing. But I just want to kind of share my perspective. I know a lot of people are wondering what they should do with their calls. So I thought I'd, give a quick kind of what I'm doing. And if you agree with that, feel free to follow as well. But I'm not a financial advisor. So that's all I had for you guys today. I hope you guys enjoyed. It's going to be an interesting week, right? We got Tesla earnings. We got Apple earnings. We got Facebook earnings. We got some other company, big company that I'm probably forgetting earnings. So just a lot to kind of take in this week and look out for. And I think it'll be a great week. Not necessarily great, but in terms of kind of get us an indication of where, prices are going to go from here on out. So if you enjoy videos like this, don't forget to hit that thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. Let's remember to be a bit better every single day. And until next time.